Craft is a note-taking app, and while there's no shortage of that on the market, Craft has a few features that makes it worth reviewing and possibly worth considering. Now, any decent note taker on the market these days should have, at the minimum, some of these features. You should be able to add additional content like files and images to your pages, an organizational method that is simple, so this could be folders or tags. You should be able to import and export in different formats and should have basic formatting capabilities. So being able to bold text if it's markdown or rich text, and any note-taking apps that don't have this at a minimum, probably not worth considering. So let's take a look at Craft. When you open Craft for the first time, this is the interface you get. A side panel with a lot of the organizational features and a main panel. The side panel is collapsible, so you can focus on your notes by clicking this button here at the top. Before we go on, let's take a quick look at the settings. So it's really divided into two categories: account settings and general settings. In account settings, where you can change what kind of AI assistant model you want. Here are a list of all of the AI models available. In general settings, you can change things like the appearance and sound. So go from system to light or dark. I'll just leave mine in system. But I'm not a fan of this application icon interface because when you click on it, you get taken to a web page that shows you how to set one. It's a really convoluted process. If Craft cannot work this into the app, then there is no need to have this at all. Language and spelling and advanced, not a lot in advanced, and that's pretty much settings. So we have home, ability to create new documents. So when you go to create a new document, you have this other panel as well. Organize gives you a list of all of your folders as well as the notes in them. All docs does the same thing. I think the difference between all docs and organize is from here you can easily drag and drop files into different folders, and you can create folders on here as well. In all docs, you don't see a list of your folders. It's just every single file that you have. There's a task pane, a calendar pane, starred, unsorted, templates, and published content. Very typical for a note app. And before I close this, there is an option here to customize sidebar. So what I like to do is so all I have now is just this three: organize, all docs, and any notes that are not in folders. Let's create a new note here. We'll call it new document. And let's just get some paragraphs here. So there's that. I'm going to turn off spelling so that we can take off the squiggly lines. And we can just quickly go through some of the capabilities that Craft has. Every paragraph is a text block. This is good for easier editing. You can drag text blocks around. Some people love this, some don't. I think it's fine. There are slash commands, and this work anywhere in the text. So if I'm in the middle of a text here and I type slash, I can change this to bold. So if I type bold, I can change the whole block or the whole card into bold. Any style or any action in here will apply to the block. So let's take a quick look at some of the other features that Craft has. First, I'm going to close the sidebar and focus at the top here so I can share this note. And the good thing about this is whoever I share it with doesn't need a Craft account to edit. I can publish it, publish to the web. I can export in any of this format, and I can transfer this to some select note-taking apps as well. This is a present option, and this is a side panel. So from here, you can insert different content into your page, into your document. So let's drag and drop some of them in. There's a page break, there's a table option, so you can nest pages as well as adding dividers, and the list goes on. So it seems this is a repetition of the slash command. So I can insert separators here, and these separators look like the separators at the top here as well. I'm not really a fan of that design, but that's something to keep in mind. And then I can go to format in here if I select something. And once again, it's a repetition of what I can get from the slash command. I can go to style, check all styles. I'm not really sure who the target is for these features, who the users are. So is this supposed to look like a diary? So this is a bit confusing. This just feels like adding features for the purpose of adding features. I don't see a practical, okay, so if I select this, and this is what I get. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you're a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this at all, so I'm just gonna go back to original. And here we get info. So I'm gonna close this. And another thing you notice is there is this hover card on here. There's this little card on here, which is a replication of this sidebar. So if you close this, you get this. The exact same thing that you can also do from a slash command. Craft lets you open multiple documents using tabs. So I can create a new document here, start editing, and go back to my previous document, copy and paste, so I can work with 2, 3, 4 multiple documents at once. So that's the Craft interface. Lots of features. A lot of them you won't use. A lot of them are repetitions of themselves. Now, you could argue that that is just too many functionalities built into one app, which starts to make it slow or transition away from a pure note-taking application. I can understand that argument, and I see both ways. So let's move on to the next thing. Let's see how sticky it is. This is a tricky one because when I first started using Craft, I got excited because of all of the features and the functionalities that it has and different ways of styling, different ways of doing things. But what I found is the excitement fades very quickly. But I stayed for the simple, basic functionality of just being able to take really good notes. So if you're someone who wants to change or who wants to start using Craft based on all of these functionalities and features that I've highlighted, be wary, but it's a good note taker at the baseline. So if you like to experiment, then you would love Craft because there's a lot of functionalities, there's a ton of features for you to experiment. So in terms of being sticky, it fairly is. Now let's talk about price. There's a free limited version that gives you 10 docs plus 2 per week after that, which in my opinion is not usable because if you have a lot of documents, that's just not something you'd be interested in. The pro version is about $8 a month. There is no one-time purchase. It's a subscription of $8 a month, and a lack of a usable free version or a free trial that gives you the full functionality makes it a bit steep, but I'll leave it to you guys. Now, overall, as a note-taking app, Craft has something for everybody. Its rich style text plus markdown is a big draw, and being able to embed a page in a page and linking pages is also cool. You can export and import in multiple formats, and which is good for not locking you in. Perhaps the best feature is its real-time collaboration, because fewer and fewer note-taking apps now offer this feature, and those who do inevitably depart from being a note-taking app to something else entirely. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Notion. So to give it a score, I think it's earned a 4 out of 5. And that's my review for Craft. If you don't know, now you know.